Well, our story today is called Why Can't Church Be Like Baseball? Hmm. Well, it so happens our story starts at a baseball game. Any of you guys play baseball? Girls, nobody does? Well, in the baseball game, the batter was up. He held his bat, and the ball came. Oh, we're still waiting on a few. There you are. I know we had more kids than this. Jonah, Millie, and Lola. Come on. Okay, you want to sit right here? Well, yeah, he was up to bat. And he held his bat and he watched the ball come and he went crack! And the ball went flying out into the field, past the shortstop, out into the field, and he ran to the first base. Yay! His teammates called, good hit, way to go! Now the coach said, Miguel, your turn. Get him to second base. Austin? No. Todd? I'm getting all my names mixed up. Todd, you're next. Get ready. So Miguel goes up, gets his bat, and he waits for the pitch. And he swings, crack! The ball goes flying up into the sky, way over. It's a home run. It's a home. Oh. The outfielder caught it just by the fence. Okay, now it was Todd's turn to be up. Watch, keep your eyes on the ball, coach said. Todd goes, okay. He stood up with his bat. Are you leaving? Where are you going? Don't want to hear the story? You want to sit right over here? Want to sit over here? Okay. Oh, we lost 3 more. Okay, anyway. I don't know, maybe they don't like baseball. So, it was now Todd's turn. And Todd had the bat. And he was watching the ball. He said, keep your eye on the ball. Don't think about anything else. And he stood there. And the first pitch came, and he didn't move. Ball one! And he watched, and the next pitch came, and he swung. Crack! And the ball went flying way straight into the second baseman's glove. Out! Eagles win! After the game, Dad said to Todd, that was a good, solid hit. It's just a pity that the second baseman's glove was right there. And Todd said, yeah, and if only Miguel's hit had, well, anyway, we'll get them next Tuesday when we play the Bears. So they started walking. Now, Todd's parents liked baseball, and they came to see Todd's games whenever they could. So, as they were walking back to the car, they were thinking about the game. But a couple days later, all you could hear was Todd saying, hurry up, Mom. I don't want to be late. It's time to go. And Mom said, don't hurry me. I'm ready. Another thing Todd's family liked to do together was go to church. And Todd loved to go to his class. He didn't want to be late. He didn't want to miss the lesson. He didn't want to miss the stories. He didn't want to miss the songs. He didn't want to miss seeing his friends. So when they got to church and Todd's class was over and Todd was sitting in church, Todd was going, you know, I really like coming to church and I really like to worship, but sometimes church is boring. And this is one of those Sabbaths. Todd had already counted all the tithe envelopes in the pew. He had looked at his shoes. He had looked at the ceiling and tried to count the lights. He had looked at the windows. He had fidgeted in his seat. He had eaten his snack. And he said, Mom, touched her on the shoulder, can I go get a drink of water? His mom shook her head. No. Just wait. Church will be over shortly. You can wait. He sank back in the pew and he said, why can't church be as interesting as baseball? And he started looking around. Now, some of the people seemed really interested in what Pastor Franklin was saying. One guy looked like he was sleeping. And some other people looked like they were reading or writing on paper in their laps. Todd said, Now, when church was over and he and his parents were going home, his mom said, Todd, that's the second time you've been in a hurry today. The first time was to get to church, and the second time was for church to be over. I know you like going to church, but is there something you don't like? You don't like all of church? Todd says, well, yes, I like my class, and I like when Pastor Franklin starts out with a story. But sometimes when he starts talking, he uses big words that I don't understand. And some of the hymns are like that too. And Dad said, well, Todd, church is not only for little people like you, and it's not only for big people like your parents, it's for everybody in the church because it helps to make us a good, strong church family. And a good, strong church family helps each other learn about God. And Todd thought about that. So next Tuesday when they were going to play baseball, they got to the field early. So Todd and his parents were sitting out in the bleachers watching the early game finish. And as they watched, Dad said to Todd, Todd, do you think everybody here likes baseball? Yes, Todd said. And Dad said, what's your favorite part of baseball? Todd said, when I'm at the bat, when I'm ready to hit. That's my favorite part. And Dad said, well, I like the pitching. I like to watch the pitcher strike out the batters. And Mom said, well, I like the fielding. I like to watch how all the people in the field work together to help their team. And Todd says, well, I guess we all like different things. And Dad said, take a look around. And Todd looked around. And some people seemed really interested in the game. They were leaning forward in their seats. They were shouting. One guy looked like he was sleeping. And some people looked like they were writing on papers or reading papers in their lap. Todd said, nobody's making them stay here. Why don't they just leave? And his dad asked him the same question. Why do you think they don't leave during the boring parts that they don't like? And Todd said, well, maybe because they enjoy baseball and even the boring parts are better than staying at home. Dad said, And Todd thought about it. He said, The next time he was sitting in church, he said, you know what? Maybe church is like baseball. There's some parts that I don't like maybe, but other people like it. And there's some parts other people like and I think are boring. But you know what? I think I'm just going to stick around and see if it's just as interesting as baseball. Now, how many of you think you're going to stick around this morning to see if it's as interesting as baseball? I'm going to stick around. Anybody else going to stick around? No? Well, none of you can drive, so I guess you're all stuck here. Okay, well, I want to see who wants to pray with me this morning. And we're not putting any pressure on the pastor, okay? No pressure. Okay. Who wants to pray with me this morning? Okay, Gregory, come on here. Okay, stand up. The microphone is up here. Okay, go ahead.
Dear Jesus, thank you for everything you know. Please help us and bless your name. Amen.
Amen. Okay, thank you, boys and girls. You can go back to your seats now.